Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me for the live stream Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for joining me. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin. We're going to talk about news. Throw out questions. I'll take your questions and do my best to get them answered. Let's jump right in. Okay, guys, welcome to my lair. I've still got that peace and love T-shirt on. It has been through one wash cycle, so but I told you last week it's going to be my uniform. I like this shirt, so I'll try not to wear the same shirt every live stream, but we'll see how things go. So Bitcoin's up again today. That's good news. I've got some news for you guys. Cryptocurrency news. A little bit of encryption news, like some privacy and security kind of stuff. We'll talk about, the new year, what's going on with Bitcoin. So let's dive in. All right. Oh, so I definitely need to change my resolution so you guys can see my entire screen. I forgot to do that. I kind of went down to the wire there and almost didn't get the live stream done in time. Where are we here? 1920 by 1080. Oh, wrong monitor. My bad. Let's see, where are we here? Okay, sorry. Going crazy over here. There it is. Yeah. Okay. All right, now you can see my whole screen here. I have to reduce my resolution so you guys can see everything. It looks bigger. Usually I'm at a higher resolution and it looks kind of bad when I'm trying to demo stuff for people. So anyway, thanks for joining. Let's pop out and see where everybody's at. See who's here, who's not here. Chadwick's here. Good. Thanks for joining me again. Hello. Depeche is here. Good evening. Grand Illusion from Idaho is here. Good to have you guys. Let's just go ahead and dive into the news. See how things are going. It's a new year. Let's look at the current state of the market. We got Bitcoin over 8,000 again. It's been kind of pushing since the beginning of the year. I think when we talked last week, there was some geopolitical stress on the world markets, and Bitcoin seemed to act as if it's a safe haven. A lot of people disagree with that. Some people claim that it's not really a safe haven, but most of the people that say that are the people that don't think it has any value. So of course they're not going to think of it as a safe haven like oil or anything else like that. But it has sort of been acting like that. But I did read an article earlier today where someone objected to that and said that no, Bitcoin tends to go up when the stock market goes up. So, get your own charts, get your own correlations, and you can claim just about anything you want about Bitcoin. But anyway, so that's where we're at today. We're up for the day. Let's look at 1 week. Let's look at our 7-day. So there's been, we got a little push up earlier in the week, up to about 83.79. Some exchanges said that it crossed 84. I don't see that on this chart. But then we were down to 77.55 earlier today, I guess it was. And then now we're back up over 8,000. So that's looking good. So Betty A, hello, welcome. Happy New Year. Marvin is here. Hello from Canada. Welcome, everybody. So I've got this article. Now, before I go too much further, keep in mind that all of the articles that I'm talking about tonight have links down in my description. So if you want to read up on any of these articles, you can check out these links down in my description. And then, of course, there's the normal affiliate links, Crypto.com, Ledger affiliate link, and Brave Browser. I invite you to check those out. I've got a link to LBRY, which is another platform where my videos are being hosted. And then check out privacytools.com .io. It's a good site if you want to learn more about how much you're being surveilled and ways to combat that. And then also, if you look down further in my description, I've got links to a bunch of my Ledger videos, which I'm pretty proud of. Most people find them very helpful. So if you've got a Ledger Nano X or a Ledger Nano S, check out these links. There's a lot of good videos on how you set those up, how you restore them, how you move crypto in and out, that kind of stuff. So check all that stuff out. So let's jump back into the news. So I've got this article here where they're asking a lot of people that are in the crypto community what their price targets for Bitcoin are. Paulo Arredondo from Bitfinex believes that Bitcoin will reach at least 20,000 this year. Might drop below 6. All right, so and then we've got this prediction from Adam Back, CEO of Blockstream. The effects of the halving, which is, I believe, June, if I'm not mistaken, May or June. The halving event, which will cut the blockchain rewards in half. He's speculating that Bitcoin could reach as high as 100,000. A good prospect of breaking the all-time high. That's kind of seems to be the consensus. Most people are thinking that Bitcoin will revisit its all-time high this year. We can only hope and pray. A lot of analysis. Is a good article. A lot of people have some good things to say about the state of technology, and there's more to Bitcoin than just the price action. So this is a pretty good. It's a little long, but he's talking more about Bitcoin adoption and the things that Bitcoin can bring about, as opposed to just its price action. This is pretty safe bet here between 1,000 and 1,000,000. The CEO of Binance, Zhangpeng Zhao, CZ. He's not making any particular predictions. We've got max 14, min 5. There was one here that I thought was kind of interesting. Min 0, max value. Of course, that's I could have done that one. Okay. Maddie Greenspan says that with a 99% certainty, it will remain within a wide range between $100 and $1 million. Well, yeah, that's a safe bet, right? Got some max 20, min 3. Ivan at Tech, minimum 34, max 200. Everything is possible. Okay. So yeah, check out this article. There's a lot of good people, knowledgeable people that are giving their views on what they think Bitcoin will do this year. So pretty decent article. You might want to check it out. Crypto Time. Happy New Year. Scott Lee, aloha. Nice to have you here. I hope you're cooking something good. Great Caper is here. Hello. Bitcoin 100K, not till 2024. Oh, there's always somebody that wants to put a damper on the enthusiasm, right? But that's a good thing, right? We don't want to be over exuberant, right? Can always lead to trip us up, right? 100K, but not this year. That seems to be the consensus. That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know about 100K this year either. That seems a little... I would like to see it hit its all-time high and more. I've been waiting for that one since last year. So I would, I think I've waited long enough, right, for Bitcoin to revisit its all-time high. All right, so this article I would like to talk about. People have been asking me about Hex in the live stream for quite a while, and I think someone asked me about it last week, and I told them I felt like it felt like a scam just from the language that you would get on their website about, and here's the thing. If you looked at how Hex worked, there was a way to claim Hex if you owned Bitcoin. If you had Bitcoin in your own wallet, they had a mechanism where you could claim Hex. And it was basically, getting Hex for free from by claiming it with your Bitcoin wallets. But a lot of people that were getting sucked in were sort of seeing that and thinking, oh, well, that sounds legit. And then there was an option. But if that's too difficult for you, or you don't have enough Bitcoin to really get as much hex as you might want, you can always buy it directly with Ethereum. And that was where the red flags went up for me. Ethereum has value, right? So they're asking me to just, trade my, Ethereum, my number 2 cryptocurrency, for this new unproven coin, which may or may not have any value, and with a lot of wild claims, right? So that threw up some red flags for me. So according to this article now, this Ethereum wallet, where a lot of people were sending in their Ethereum in order to get hex in return, has now been emptied out, right? They've moved the Ethereum out into various other wallets. And that, to me, is not a good sign. But check out the article. The bulk of the Ethereum that was used to buy hex has been emptied from the original address. Creator Richard Hart refuses to acknowledge any involvement with the ETH in question, and that's a bad sign. Where is it that they talk about him? Richard Hart set up a smart contract which would spit out hex tokens to anyone who sent Ethereum to it. In leaning on automated smart contracts in such a way, Hart can stand back and maintain he has nothing to do with the sale of hex. When questioned, Hart has neither confirmed nor denies that he controls the hex Ethereum address, or even that he knows who does. The reason being he knows doing so would provide a legal opening for financial authorities. Hart will apparently own more than 50% of the hex token supply, and that was also a red flag due to the way the protocol was designed. But with hex trading at about 1 Satoshi, or $0.0000082, 50% of nothing isn't much, right? So the real kitty here was the people that were dumb enough to trade their Ethereum for hex, right? So, and that's millions of dollars worth of Ethereum that has now been moved elsewhere. So not a good sign for hex. All right. So anyway, Theta, BlockFi, credit rewards card. You know what? The thing, BlockFi contacted me, and I get a lot of people asking me to, work with them, promote them, do demos for their platform and that sort of thing. The problem I have with certain exchanges are, if you're not allowing U.S. customers to access your exchange directly, then I don't really feel comfortable promoting the exchange. I look at my metrics on YouTube, and the bulk of my viewers are in the U.S. I'm in the U.S., my viewers are in the U.S., and I'm not going to promote a platform where I have to tell people to use a VPN to access it because it's blocked to U.S. users. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with those platforms. Like, if I were based in Singapore, or if I were based in New Zealand or Australia or some other country that had full access to these platforms, they're big platforms. I would love to work with them and maybe get compensated for doing demos for them and that sort of thing, get affiliate and, encourage all my users. But I can't encourage people to on a platform that is not available in the U.S. technically, right? And BlockFi is one of those. You can't get to it from the U.S. unless you use a VPN. I asked them, because they were asking me, if we could, come up to some sort of arrangement. And my first question was, can I access your platform from the U.S.? And he said, no, you have to do it through a VPN. And that's kind of where I dropped it. I was kind of like, okay, Binance US, Coinbase, Bittrex, Crypto.com, they're all available to US users. So I'm all behind those platforms. Cash App for buying Bitcoin. It's a great platform for buying Bitcoin. I don't mind, talking about those and promoting those. But I don't know much about BlockFi because, they're not available in the U.S. unless you use a VPN, and that's all right. Hex, you never know. We've all seen crazier things in this space. Yes, it's possible you could get rich with all that hex you bought with your Ethereum or you claimed with your Bitcoin addresses. So I'm not saying that, the dream is dead. I'm just saying it doesn't look good. I got a little PGP stuff I'd like to talk about. We talk a lot about cryptography in here, and I've demoed some cryptography for you guys. Bitcoin is based on cryptography. It uses digital signatures. It uses hashes. So, and that's what keeps it secure. That's what keeps the blockchain immutable. So I always find it interesting to talk about a few articles that talk about SHAs. And this is about a SHA-1, which is one of the older SHA protocols. And a new exploit has been discovered by some researchers. And so SHA-1s are really pretty much cracked. And so people should migrate away from them. And it is being migrated away from because it's not, the most secure hash out there, but there are a few legacy things that still use SHA-1, and so there's a little bit of compensation in the industry. So I invite you to read this article. It's a very enlightening article, and let's just talk about, just briefly, what a SHA is and what it does. So I've done this before with you guys. So let's see. I got to go over here. All right, my working bin. Okay, so I've got this test block, and we're calling this my simple blockchain, right? And this block is just a file, right? It could be the blockchain, but it only has one transaction and nothing else really. But what we can do is run a SHA transformation. We can run a transformation, a mathematical transformation on this file, and let's look at it right here. And this is the file. And so I have SHA-SUM software here. This is the MD5 and SHA checksum utility. So basically when I open up a file, and we'll do that test block, it runs this mathematical transformation and generates these long numbers. And you can see one of the numbers is the SHA-1. Now the MD5 is even more primitive and less secure. But generally when I do my software verifications, we're dealing with the SHA-256, which is much longer and more secure. Linearly by I want to say what's the opposite of linear? By multiples, right? So these are not in danger of being cracked, the 256 and the 512. It may just seem slightly longer to us, but there's multiples of that people need. It's much longer and harder to crack, even though it doesn't look that much longer, right? So just check out that article. I just did a short little thing, and usually when we do software verification, we're going to get, the developer will run their own SHA-256 and give us theirs so that we can compare it to ours and verify that what we've downloaded has not been tampered with. And that's really the main reason we use hashes, so that if a file changes ever so slightly, the hash will change and we'll know that it's not the right file. And so in this article, it talks a little bit about, they talk about what a hash is and how it works. And I may have not be able to find it, but there was, oh, here. They were able to fool someone with a file, and they talked about how they took the author's file, they ran the hash, and then they were able to take an attacker's file, which was different, and get that same hash, so that the signature was not valid, right? The attacker could fool someone into thinking that he had, that it was, that he had signed it and he was the proper person. Let's see. The attacker controls key A with the name of the victim and signed by the third party. Therefore, he can impersonate the victim and sign any document in their name, right? So it's almost like you've got a perfect forgery there. So I invite you to check that out. I won't talk about it too long, but it's cool stuff, right? All right, and then I wanted to also bring up this article here. I don't know, all of you, what platform you're on. I'm using Windows right now. I have some machines that run Linux, and I've installed it on laptops and that sort of thing. But if you're really after privacy and security, then Linux is the way to go. And this is a good article about the features of some of the safe and secure Linux distributions that will protect your privacy and anonymity. And I've done some videos. One of them is Tails, and I do have a video on Tails, which I invite you to check out. Let's check it out here real quick. Videos, Tails. This video isn't too old, really, but check it out. It's a good video. I explain how you install Tails, and it's a good way to stay safe and secure. Also, I wanted to point out to you guys, thank you, because I just cranked over 30,000. Is this it? I guess I got to do this. Yeah, I have over 30,000 subscribers now. Scott has said on a few occasions that he thinks I should have 100,000. And so I appreciate him saying that. It makes me feel good that he has that much confidence in me. But I am also happy that I've ticked over 30,000 subscribers. It's kind of a, it's a milestone for me. So just wanted to point that out and thank all you guys in the live stream, because you guys have given me the encouragement and support that I need to continue making videos. Without this commitment to my Friday night live stream, it's easy to fall by the wayside and go for weeks or months without posting videos. But when I'm, in the habit of doing the once a week, then I'm more inclined to stay active with the channel and keep posting videos and keep, growing the channel. So, like I said, I thank all of you that are watching and my regular viewers for that. I really do appreciate it. So also you might want to check out the last couple of videos that I did. Binance US just released an app, so you can use an app on your phone. I did another Crypto.com video on earning interest on your Stellar, and that video's been doing pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. I have to say that sometimes when I do a video, like for instance the Binance US video, I struggled making the video. There are days where you run into technical issues or you screw something up and you have to redo, and then I end up with like 7 different video chunks that I'm editing in various stages of success and non-success, and I have to edit, and it's kind of a pain. But this one that I did on Stellar came pretty easily, and it came out really nice. I presented it very well, in my opinion. I have some really watched videos that have a lot of views, and when I watch them, it's painful to me because it's just not up to my standards. You know what I mean? But I watched this video on the Crypto.com Crypto Earn program for Stellar, and it's a very well done, well presented video, short and to the point, and all that good stuff. So check out the videos I posted this week. They're the first two for this year. So check out the channel, check out the videos. I appreciate it. All right, so we talked about Tails. One of the other ones is UNIX. I do have some old videos on UNIX. I haven't done one lately on UNIX, so I need to get that done. UNIX is a very safe and secure privacy and anonymity OS, right? It sort of runs in a virtual environment. It's practically impossible to hack it. It doesn't have leaks, but it does require a certain amount of technical expertise. Very nice. Period. Always good to hear that kind of thing. We had a late run today. The driver was supposed to get to an office by 5 p.m. and it wasn't looking good. And she got in there at 5:06, and someone was just leaving and received the package. So we made our delivery. So that's always good. It's been a while since I've missed one, but we used to have a lot of close calls. They always want to do them at the last minute between 4 and 5. And I was a little worried about this one, but she did it. That's great. Hooray. Okay. All right. And I guess that's the news, right? Let's see what we're talking about here. Yeah. The Bitcoin, Hex, PGP, and the privacy-based Linux distribution. So check those out when you have a chance. And let's move some crypto around. Let's see. I wanted to kind of focus on the phone. So let's see. How can we do this? First of all, let me just check to make sure there aren't any open questions and anyone getting upset that I haven't answered their question. Betty said she fell for a scam, sent out a little BTC, but that's okay, Betty. You know, we're not, you know, a lot of the scams that are out there are very convincing, and that's why they're scams, right? If they're a good scammer, they're gonna look legit, right? And I've fallen for a lot of things in my time too. You know, and I've made some, you know, some big errors. I think I mentioned to you guys that I tried to use a Bitcoin mixer and was on a faux site, right? And so the faux site looked very similar to a Bitcoin mixer I had used before. And so I threw some Bitcoin in there and it just went. It was gone, right? It wasn't the actual mixer site. It was a clone of the site. It looked very legit, and I had used the mixer before, and that was back in 2017. I haven't used a mixer since then. I've decided that it's better just to hold your Bitcoin and let it be known that you've got it. And then there was a time where I exposed my private key when I was setting up a wallet in a video, and I thought to myself, it's no big deal because I'll never put any Bitcoin in there. And I was doing another video less than a month later, and I did put some Bitcoin into that particular wallet. And whoever had seen that previous video and got a hold of that private key had set up like a bot on, you know, they had that wallet active, and there was a bot just waiting for any incoming transactions. And so I sent in 50 to the wallet. And then 5 or 10 minutes later, I looked at the wallet and noticed that the Bitcoin that went in had been withdrawn and that the wallet was empty. You know, I could see the transaction history. So There's a lot of mistakes we can make with Bitcoin. I've had a lot of people that have accidentally sent coins from like an exchange into an Ethereum wallet after the coin had changed to its own mainnet. There are a lot of coins that kind of graduate from ERC20 tokens, and they're easy enough to convert. But if you're not aware of that and you still think they're ERC20 tokens, it's possible to send some of them back to an Ethereum address, and then they just sort of disappear. They're gone. The coins are gone. And then there are people, I've talked to a lot of people that have accidentally sent BTC to a Bitcoin Cash address or vice versa. And in those cases, your coins are gone too. So, and of course, I've got a lot of people in my comments that have lost their backup phrase and forgot their password. And that means their Bitcoin's gone. So don't feel bad when you make mistakes. This is technical stuff. It's not for the faint of heart. It's kind of a buyer beware kind of economy, right? Because there are no takebacks. It's not like using a credit card where you go out and you buy a suit and you get it home and you're not happy with it, and then you try to take it back, they won't take it back, so you call your credit card company and reverse charges or something like that. You can't do that with Bitcoin. Once you spend it, it's spent. And once you send it to the wrong place, it's wrong. And if you make a typo on your address and send it to a wrong address, then it's also gone. It's very unlikely that if you make a typo in a Bitcoin address that you're going to send it to another person. You're probably going to send it to an empty wallet that'll probably never be discovered in our lifetime or anyone else's, and it's just gone forever. So just take everything with a grain of salt, learn from your mistakes. I know I have. Mr. David was getting good rain. Oh, there's a big weather warning here in Grand Rapids. It's supposed to start raining here pretty soon. And then later in the wee hours of the morning, we're going to go down below freezing. So we're going to have ice all day tomorrow. And then in the afternoon, it's going to snow. So there's a lot of warnings. We filled up the gas tank. We bought some extra goodies. And we got plenty of wood for the fire. And we got a couple of battery-powered lanterns and flashlights in case we lose power. So we're hunkering down. So stay safe, everybody out there that's expecting bad weather. And stay close to your friends and family. All right, so I want to move some crypto around. So I'm thinking, why don't we do... Well, first of all, I wanted to consolidate some Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and do that, just for the heck of it. I think we talked about this last week. I probably did this last week. Let me do this. There it goes. Okay. Let's get in here. All right, so this is our ledger live. And I think that last week I moved some coins from one ledger to another. So what I want to do is I basically want to do the same thing again. Let's get this guy over here. Let's get this guy up so I can see what I'm doing. So I've got Bitcoin in my ledger black. This guy. Oh, you kidding me? Oh, okay. And it's connected, and it's in the Bitcoin app, right? And then I also have, what I'd like to do is send that Bitcoin into this other wallet, this native SegWit wallet. So I'm going to do that. So what I want to do is and I've got both of these guys connected, right, to the computer with a USB cable. So, well, first thing I'm going to do is get my receiving address of the Ledger Nano X, which is where I want to send my Bitcoin. So I believe I'm already in the Bitcoin app. I can go into it again just so let's get this guy here. Okay. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to exit real quick just so you guys can see. Oops. All right. Oh, I was in the Ethereum app. All right, so I want to be in the Bitcoin app. Oops. So I'm not in the Bitcoin yet. So I'm just going to leave it there just so you can see what happens. So when you do a receive, the first thing it wants to do is verify the address that you're sending to. It's going to generate a brand new receiving address. Now it's asking me a question, even though it's not directly asking a question. It's sitting here spinning. And so it's asking me to open the Bitcoin app on my device. Actually, I need to be out of the Bitcoin app on my other device. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. It should have actually worked on because the Ledger Black was connected. But c'est la vie. Let's hit both buttons here and get into the Bitcoin app on the Ledger Nano X. Okay, and it sees that. Now we're going to continue, and the address will appear on the device, right? This is our fail-safe. We're just going to double check that that address matches the one on my computer screen. Now remember, in Ledger Live, in your Bitcoin wallets, when you do a receive, it's going to generate a brand new receiving address for you every time. Now, if you just had if you took this address and just put it in a document somewhere, you could use this address over and over and over again if you wanted to, right? But it's safer and more secure to generate a unique receiving address every time you do this, right? And once we've done that, you'll notice that this window cannot be closed, right? There's no way to close this window. It's waiting for me, but it's not very clear, but what it's waiting for me to do is verify that address on the device. Right, see that tiny little arrow there? It wants me to advance to the next screen by hitting the metal button. Right, now it says approve. I'll hit both buttons and I'll approve it, and suddenly the X appears, right? That means now I can close this window out. So I'm going to copy the address into my clipboard, right? So I'm ready to receive. So I have an address in my clipboard. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go over to the Ledger Black SegWit account, and I'm going to do a send, right? And I'm going to paste in that Bitcoin address, and I'm going to hit continue, and I'm going to send it max. Now watch what happens when I do this. Oops, wrong device. The reason it's saying that is because this Ledger Nano X is connected and in the Bitcoin app. What I'm trying to do is send from the Ledger Black. So I'm just going, I don't even have to disconnect it, right? It's still connected. I just need to go over here to quit and exit the Bitcoin app on the Ledger X. Now I can go over to my Ledger Black. It's still connected, and just enter the Bitcoin app by hitting both buttons. Now let's try that again. Is it going to let me do it? Yes, it is. All right. Now you'll notice that that outgoing transaction suddenly appears on the device. So I need to review the transaction. So I'm going to hit this button above the arrow. There's the amount. There's the address in chunks. Right? I got to keep advancing on the button. There's my fees. And then at the end, I hit accept and send with both buttons. And then the transaction gets broadcast to the blockchain. I can close that. And this should go to 0 now. Boom. Now we can go over here to accounts. Let's go back over to this native SegWit. and we should see the Bitcoin come in. And there it did. Very quick, right away. So you'll notice I have both devices connected, and Ledger knows if you try to use an account that's associated with a device and the wrong device is in the Bitcoin app and connected at that time, it's going to say, oops, wrong device. And so you'll, even though I didn't necessarily need to disconnect the X, I did need to exit the Bitcoin app so that I could allow the black to enter the Bitcoin app and be the right device for that outgoing transaction, right? This was the device that had the private keys for that account that we were sending out from. So that's the device that needed to be connected and in the Bitcoin app so that it could sign the outgoing transaction. And that did. All right. So that's it. That was pretty cool. Now let's do some phone stuff, right? Before I do that, let's go ahead and sync up my phone to my desktop ledger. And the way that we do that is, let's get the phone going here. All right, there's the phone. Let's go into our Ledger Live app. Right? And I just want to make sure that these accounts are synced. Right? So the way that I'm going to do that, and it should go down a bit because some of this has gone out. Yeah, let's get down a little bit. All right, so let's go over to accounts on the phone. Now what we want to do is we want to sync all of the accounts on this phone to my Ledger Live. So the way that that works is I'll go to my settings up here in my desktop. I'm going to go over to accounts and I'm going to choose export accounts. I'll choose export and it gives me this moving QR code. Now I'll go back over to the phone. Now up at the top of the phone in the right corner is a little plus. I'm going to tap that little plus, and then down at the bottom there you can see it says import desktop accounts. I'm going to tap that. Now it wants me to, the camera gets active, it wants me to scan that QR code. Notice the little circle down at the bottom, the percentage. It's going through, it's scanning all of the accounts so that all of the desktop accounts are now going to be active on the phone account, right? They'll be synced up. Some of them are 0, but that's fine, right? The Ledger Black we emptied out. And then the Bitcoin, the 2 Bitcoin, the donation addresses for Bitcoin and XRP are new accounts that I added to monitor my donation addresses. So we'll just hit import. Now the two totals should be the same, right? So if we look at portfolio and portfolio, oh, actually, I believe there was already some additional accounts on here that I have removed from Ledger Live. So if we go to accounts, so it's only going to add accounts that were in my that were in my that were in my phone already. So let's see, where is that discrepancy, right? I think the Vert coin is gone. No, the Vert coin's here. Ethereum S Legacy is there. The Litecoin is there. I don't know. I don't know why they I think there's an additional account, right? Yeah, because they're not the same. I'm not sure where it's at, but it is. But that's not really that important. But this is the way to, I could wipe all the accounts on the phone and then do the sync, and then they would be the exact same accounts. But the phone just happens to have an additional account somewhere that's not in the desktop. I'm always fooling around with this stuff. All right, now that we've done that, I've got full access to all of the accounts that are on the phone now, right? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to move some Bitcoin from my Ledger X using the phone-based Ledger app, which I don't do that often, right? So I'm going to disconnect the Ledger X. I'm going to disconnect the Ledger X, and we're just going to work with the Bluetooth on the Ledger X. So I'm going to enter my PIN. All right, so we're good to go here. So what I'd like to do, I'm thinking, let's move it to Crypto.com. Let's move some Bitcoin over to Crypto.com, just for the heck of it, right? And we're going to need cut and paste in these, right? So if I'm going to send from my ledger to Bitcoin or Crypto.com, I need to get the receiving address from Crypto.com first, right? So let's do that. Let's go over here. Let's go to Crypto.com. And I want to go to the wallet, and I want to go to the Bitcoin. You can see there's a little bit in there already. I'm going to do a transfer, and there's the Bitcoin address right there. Down at the bottom, it's giving me this SegWit Bitcoin address. It starts with the number 3. So I'm just going to tap copy down there. The wallet address is now copied into my clipboard. Now let's swing back over to Ledger Live. Let's go to accounts. And then we've got that Bitcoin native SegWit with plenty of Bitcoin in there. Let's tap that. And we're going to do a send. And I'm going to tap and paste the Bitcoin address that I got from Crypto.com. That's my sending address, right? I'm sending to Ledger. I'm sending from Ledger to Crypto.com. Right? How much am I going to send? Let's do let's do 0.01. Yeah, we got enough. Right? And then I'm going to hit continue. And it's going to break down the transaction for me. I'll hit continue again. Now, this is where the Bluetooth part comes in. It's asking me which device I want to use to sign this transaction. So I'm going to choose the Ledger X. All right? Now, I'm going to set the phone down there temporarily on my little stand. We're going to go over here. Now, here's my Ledger device. You can see it's not connected to anything, right? I'm just holding it in my hand. Now, I'm going to enter the Bitcoin app. Now, the Ledger is going to send that Bluetooth signal over to my phone. And the phone says, hey, I see your Ledger device. There it is, right? Now it wants me to confirm that outgoing transaction. It's pretty cool, right? Completely done through Bluetooth. The private key does not transfer across the Bluetooth, only the signed transaction. So let's go. We need to advance. That's the amount. There's the address. And then I hit both buttons to accept. Now it also wants me to confirm the fee. So I'm going to move over. There's the fee, very small. I'm going to move over again. Now it says accept and send. I'm going to hit both buttons. Boom. And the transaction gets broadcast. So there we go. Phone to phone. So I could have done this on the road, anywhere I was. If I'm visiting relatives at my grandmother's, my cousins, my uncles, and I happen to have my Ledger device with me, but not my computer, then I can do this. Now, I can send to my Ledger all day long from exchanges, even without having this guy. I can show you that too. But if I want to send out from the Ledger to another address, I got to have this guy with me to sign the transactions. This is my keychain, right? It has all the private keys on there. All right. So that's pretty cool. Why don't we try, and that takes a while, right? So why don't we go and move a little Ethereum this time? I'll show you how fast Ethereum moves. I don't know why Ethereum moves so much faster, but let's try that out, right? Let's go over to Crypto.com and get our address. All right. It's going to be a while. I'll get an alert on my phone. I'll show you guys when the BTC transaction comes in. But it's kind of slow. I don't know why BTC takes so long, but it does, right? Let's go to Ethereum. Let's do another transfer. And there's the Ethereum address of Crypto.com. I'm just going to tap that. And it's copied into my clipboard. Let's go back over to Ledger Live on my phone, right? And there's my Ethereum. So let's send 0.2 Ethereum to that address. I'll just paste that in there. There's the Ethereum address of Crypto.com. Why isn't it? Oh, no, it's not working. Oh, no. Okay, there it goes. Kind of weird. All right, so we'll do 0.2 Ethereum. It's going to calculate this. Not a lot. I'm just doing a test, guys. So we'll hit continue there. Now I'm going to hit continue one more time. I'm going to tell it that I want to use the Ledger X. And now it's waiting for that Ledger X to give it the Bluetooth signal that it's in the Ethereum app, right? So there it is. All right. So we need to exit the Bitcoin app. We go to quit. We're back at the home screen. Let's go over to Ethereum and hit both buttons. All right. It says application ready. So now the phone recognized that the Ethereum is open on the device. Right. This is all being done through Bluetooth. Now I review the transaction. This is my keychain, right? I need to tell it, okay, I'm willing to send out 0.2 ETH to that address. And those are my fees I'm going to incur. And I can accept and send. Notice the Ethereum kind of put it all in one transaction, right? So I can, the amount and the fees. So let's hit both buttons. And the transaction goes out. Pretty cool. And we're done with that. Now, you should see pretty quickly. I'm going to close this. Let's go over to the home screen. It only takes a minute. And so we'll just kind of hang out and wait for that Ethereum to just like show up. It will. I swear it will. I know it will. Anytime soon. Oh, I got some more MCO for some reason. Why did that happen? Not much. Whoops. Oh, I got some MCO rewards. So when you stake your MCO card, there it goes. Bing! You got a pending ETH deposit. Pretty cool, huh? I like that. So I can go over to Ethereum. And we can see down there that I have a pending Ethereum deposit coming in. And then I'll get that also with the Bitcoin that we sent, right? That we'll see that pretty soon as well. Now, also, I just did a video. Binance US has an app now, so we can go to Binance US and let's see if I got anything in there. Bitcoin's doing good. It crossed 82. That's good. Pretty sure my wallet's empty. Yeah, I don't know that I really want to put anything in the Binance app. But we could do the same thing, right? We could get, let's see, let's go to BTC. We could do deposit, and then we could copy that address into our clipboard, and then we could go back over to our ledger and send some Bitcoin into the Binance US account just from the phone, right? I could also do the same thing with Crypto.com. I could send directly from Crypto.com to my Binance US app because that's all phone-based too. We could do that. And we could send some, let's send some BNB into my Binance US account, right? Let's go down here to BNB because I've got the Trust wallet on my phone, which has some BNB. So let's do that. Let's hit deposit. I need a memo. Okay, so it's going to be a little tricky. All right, so I've got the memo and the address. You better do this right. Let's copy. Okay, let's go over to my Trust wallet. All right, let's go to Binance. And I want to send. And I need to, I'm going to paste in that recipient address. We'll send 1.5 BNB. All right, let's play it safe. And send 2. We'll send 2. Now I need that memo field. If I don't use the memo field, this BNB would be lost forever. So let's swing back over here. Oh, you did it to me again. But that's okay, right? I'll do that again. It's the same address, right? So even though it left, it's gonna be the same memo. It's the same wallet, right? It's not gonna change addresses. So let's just that X7GLC0. Yeah, see, it's the same address. I'm gonna paste in that memo. All right. So there we go. I'm sending to that address using that memo field. And I'm going to hit done here. And then next. And I need to confirm that, right? From my Binance wallet. I'm sorry. Well, I call this my Binance wallet. That's my Trust wallet name for this wallet. But I'm actually sending to Binance US using the app. All right. $30. Let's hit send. And that one goes out pretty quick. And then we can go over to Binance US and kind of monitor. I have to tap facial recognition there. Come on, baby. There it goes. Oh, they love to scare you, don't they? Oops, there it goes. Hey, wasn't that cool? Look at that. It came in right away. All right, so there's my BNB wallet on my Binance US app. And I got 2 BNB in there. That was quick. BNB is quick. BNB is quick. And so I got $30 worth of BNB in my Binance US account. All from phone to phone. Now the Trust wallet is also a non-custodial wallet, right? I control the private keys to that wallet. But it's not quite as secure as the Ledger, right? You'll notice the only thing I really needed to do was get into that wallet and confirm, right? So there really wasn't a password on that wallet. It just, I have to open the phone, right? So it's my phone, and if the phone is open, anybody can get into the Trust wallet and send, right? So it's not quite as secure. So you don't want to just hand your phone to anybody, right? They would have to unlock the phone or tie me to a chair and tell me to smile and hold the phone up to my face. But we won't go there tonight. All right. So we're moving crypto around all with our phone-based apps. And then sooner or later, Crypto.com is going to see that Bitcoin deposit, right? The Ethereum has not arrived totally yet. It's still pending. Is it? Let's wait and see here for a sec. Usually Ethereum comes in pretty quick, but not yet. Might be busy tonight, right? All right, so let me see if there's any questions. We'll just kind of hang out and wait for some Bitcoin to arrive here. All right. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me go back up here a little bit. Okay. Our supposed cougar. Okay, so I'm sorry. Sometimes I get caught up in what I'm doing and I'm not monitoring the comments very well. Looks like you guys are behaving to a certain extent. What is a good way to create a paper wallet? I'll get to that question. All right. Don't trust anyone from the country India as far as Bitcoin goes. Liars, thieves, and scammers. What kind of backup am I using in case of power outage? I have all kinds of surge protectors on my equipment, but I really don't have, you know, like if the power goes out, it's very unlikely you're going to lose data if the power goes out, right? It's just cutting the power. That's kind of an old, like when you, back in the day, you know, old hard drives, you know, you'd hear stories about, you know, the power went out and I lost a bunch of data or my hard drive crashed. That's really, there's not really a risk of that happening these days, you know, because the equipment is much more sophisticated. Hey, there comes the ETH, right? The ETH came in. That's in my wallet now. So there you go. It went up to $32. So the ETH came in from the ledger we sent from the ledger. That's pretty cool. So the only thing, I've got surge protectors to protect the equipment, but we're not, the power outages, if I get one, are going to be from the ice on the power lines, and a power line will break and I'll probably just lose power of the house, right? So if I go offline, all of a sudden you'll know that's what happened. Right? But you know, I have multiple backups of my keys and all that stuff, so I'm not really worried that much about losing crypto. I might lose data, possibly, but not very likely. All right, Grand Illusion, early days of LLC. Yeah, you can buy the wrong type of coin if you buy the old type, that sort of thing. Grand Illusion, hope you didn't lose too much. Feel comfortable telling anyone else about crypto. Obviously, I haven't conquered it myself. Betty, I'm always glad that you're here, you know. And like I said, don't be afraid to admit we've made a mistake. There might be people out there that'll help you. And, you know, and we can't cast aspersions. There we go. There's that BTC coming in. So we've got the request of the BTC coming in to crypto.com. We can go to the BTC wallet and then look down there. That's BTC. Oh, there. Yeah, there it is. BTC pending deposit now. So that's another transaction coming in. Looks like it's going to happen a little quicker than I expected. Angry guy in CryptoDad. I try to stay calm when people are angry. Two Bitcoin junkies. Watching from Ohio. Cool, Buckeye. I hear that people in Michigan don't like to lose to Ohio State, right? That's like the one thing a Michigander would never say. My wife and I, you know, we just moved to Michigan this year, so we're kind of settling into being Michiganders. Oh, okay. Bonnie from Crypto.com sent me an email. I'll check that out. But one of the things, like 10 things you'll never hear a Michigander say. One of them is, yay, Ohio State or something, or I'm glad Ohio State won. So, but there's, I mean, you know, why should there be any rivalries between states in this great country of ours? But, you know, hey. And then another thing you'll never hear a Michigander say is, you know, it's in a city, let me show you a map, right? Everybody in Michigan goes, it's right here. You know, they're let's see, I'm not looking at this right. You're like, Detroit's over here, Grand Rapids is over here. You know, that's how we talk about places in Michigan. We just hold up our hand. All right. Your thoughts on Monero being stored on a cold wallet? Anything I should be aware of? Notice all wallets firmware support the coin. Rex for president. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. Chadwick, you're always talking about your past lovers. Okay. That's all right. I'm glad you're here, Chadwick. You're always here. I appreciate you being here. All right. So someone asked me about cold storage for Monero. And then someone asked me about Paper Wallet. So let's talk about Paper Wallet for Bitcoin. There are a lot of ways to get a Paper Wallet. I'm not sure if I can get this done or not. Yeah, it never lets me do that. I have to Google it. Whoops. I guess there's a lot of scam sites out there that want to generate faux wallets. So you have to spell it right and whatever. Make sure you're on the right address. This is a way of generating a Bitcoin. There's some randomness in there. Now, of course, I would never use this wallet because it just generated, I just shared that private key with everybody, right? But this is how you create a Bitcoin paper wallet. You can do it on this website. I believe there are other websites where you could do the same thing, right? Basically, when you want to create a Bitcoin address, it just generates a random private key. And from this private key, they can mathematically derive the public key. And from the public key, oh, this is the private key. My bad, I'm sorry. From this private key, they can generate a public key mathematically, right? And then from that public key, they can generate a Bitcoin address. Now you'll notice that this paper wallet only generates one Bitcoin address, right? That if you want to send Bitcoin into this paper wallet, then that's your permanent address. Now there might be ways to derive new addresses from that using other types of software, but basically this is kind of a one-way wallet with one public address, right? And you could send a bunch of Bitcoin into it, or you could send Bitcoin periodically into it using that same address, right? Now, first of all, you would never do that in front of anyone else. You would never generate this wallet in front of anyone else, right? You don't want anyone else to see this wallet. And you don't want to do this while you're online because that is also not secure, right? You can download this wallet from the GitHub repository. And then once you've downloaded this software, what is it, clone or download, right? You clone or download it, you download the zip, and then you can actually run the software in a web browser, but you would be disconnected from the internet, right? You unplug your computer from the internet, run this software in a web browser that doesn't need to be connected to the internet, generate that wallet. Is this it? Yeah. Generate this wallet, another wallet, and then print it out, and then, forget about it, and then you've got it on paper. And then it's disconnected completely from the internet, right? So always do this offline. You'll have yourself a nice little paper wallet, and then you can send Bitcoin in there. And then you can take this public address. If I can get it to, it's not cooperating. Come on. I don't know what I have to do to get it. It's not helping. Hey, I did it. Okay. I can take this in a blockchain explorer. All right. I can paste in that address of the paper wallet. We can do a search. Okay, BTC. And there we go. We can see that there have been 0 transactions. It has an empty balance. And I could send Bitcoin in there using that address. I'm not going to because the private key has been exposed. But if you did this correctly, and then you could send Bitcoin in there, and then at any time you could check the balance by using the blockchain explorer to, see, okay, there's my 2 Bitcoin, everything's fine. If I send some more Bitcoin in there. One thing you need to be aware of with a paper wallet is that when you send Bitcoin out, you have to sort of sweep the private keys into a compatible type wallet in order to gain access to these coins, right? So, and that's also a little tricky. I believe you can do that with Electrum. Let's check. It used to be you had to do it in the command line. I think it may have, let's just get in here. As you can see, I emptied this guy out, but I don't believe there's a mechanism tools. Yeah, I think. Oh, okay, there you go. You could sweep private keys, right? And then it wants the private key. I don't know if you could do that. I don't know what that is. Okay, so if everything's working right, it might be able to use my webcam to scan the QR code of this private key, right, in order to sweep that private key in there. But I could do this, right? Right, and then sweep that guy in there. Did that work? Yeah. Okay, I may not have done that right. I'm not sure what that. You do that? Wallet, private keys, sweep. Yeah. I may not be doing this right. I felt that I did that correctly. Oh, maybe it wants that public address? I don't know. Seems kind of weird. Why would it want that? But maybe it does. Nah, that doesn't look right. Yeah. I don't know if I'm doing it right. But that's what you would have to do. I'll have to do some more research. You'd have to sweep that private key into a regular wallet if you really wanted to spend that Bitcoin or sell it, right? Because you can't sell it from a paper wallet. You'd have to get that Bitcoin somewhere else, right? So that you could move it to an exchange and sell it for dollars or use it to buy something or whatever. Because paper wallets are one way. Once you move the Bitcoin in there, they're in there until you like sweep the private keys into some other wallet that can actually move that Bitcoin. And then and I don't know, there may be a way to send part of it out. I'm not sure. It's a little complicated. But paper wallets are more intended for long-term, kind of one-way storage, right? But there are ways to import those into other wallets so that you have access to the funds at some point in the future. But usually the idea is you create this paper wallet offline, you keep it secret, you have the public address there, and then you can send Bitcoin in there periodically or all at once, and just sort of save it in there. It's very, very secure offline, right? A little tricky getting it back accessible again, but it can be done, right? As long as you've got the keys, you're fine, right? You'd figure out a way, right? Especially if it was a lot of Bitcoin, right? And then the other question was a cold storage Monero. I believe there are some paper Monero wallets. Okay. Yeah, you can generate a wallet. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a wallet here already, right? They just generated this paper type wallet. And of course, you would do this offline as well. You don't want to do this while you're connected to the internet, but you can generate a paper wallet, right? And then here's the address, right? So I could generate this paper wallet, print it somewhere, keep it safe, right? It's got the mnemonic phrase, right? I could easily use this mnemonic phrase and pull it into my regular Monero wallet to gain access to this wallet, right? But as it stands, once it's created, of course, offline, you would print all this information out, and then you would have this sending address where you could send your Monero, right? Now, there's other like offline ways to do Monero too. If you've got the Monero wallet here, you could create a brand new wallet from hardware, right? So there's a way to create a Ledger wallet using a Ledger device, and the private keys of that Monero gets stored on the device. And that's pretty secure too, right? The only way to access that Monero is through the device, right? Now it doesn't, the Monero wallet doesn't support the Bluetooth stuff, so you would have to connect the device physically with a USB cable to your computer to do this. But that's one way of storing your Monero and storing your private key on a ledger device. I won't go into that fully, but I will refer you to this video. Yeah, here it is. Check out this video, step by step. How do you create the wallet and store it on a ledger and using the latest version of the Monero wallet. Update Monero and store on a ledger, right? So that's one way. So let's see, where did I get that, right? I just kind of Googled paper wallet for Monero, right? And then there's the Monero offline wallet generator, right? And, oh, okay, moneroaddress.org. So that's a way to, and then don't do this when you're connected to the internet. There's got to be an offline way to do that. And you can confirm you can verify all of this. They give you ways to verify with GPG signature. So there's a whole little rabbit hole you can go down. Yeah, you would go to the Git repository and download a copy of this generator and download it on a zip, disconnect your computer from the internet, and run this software in a web browser, just like the one that we looked at here. It would be exactly the same, right? Only you would be doing it without being connected to the internet, right? And then you would have your mnemonic phrase, your spend key, your view key, and then your public address where you could send Monero to this this offline paper wallet. Or you could follow the video that I mentioned that shows you how to create a Monero desktop-based wallet where you're storing the private keys on a ledger or a Trezor. You can do either one. And that's also kind of what you would call an offline or cold storage way of storing Monero safely and securely, right? Use the ledger or use the paper wallet. Paper wallet is more secure, but a little more inconvenient, right? It's difficult to access the Monero from the paper wallet, right? It's a little more, there's a little more involved, right? But that's a good way. And I go through in that video, I think I go through the whole verification of the Monero download and all that good stuff. So you want to make sure that you're verifying it cryptographically, especially when you're downloading a wallet like Monero wallet. There are a lot of like fake Monero wallet websites out there, so be careful. Okay. All right, good stuff. So, hey, Rob is here. Ron is here. I'm still live for the next several minutes at least. Ron, I spent most of the evening doing the Ledger Nano Bluetooth thing. But I will mention, if you're having trouble, and I've had trouble with this thing a few times when I went to set it up, one thing that you might notice, and let's see, did that Bitcoin come in yet? Still pending, right? Let's do this. I'm just going to refresh to see if that Bitcoin actually arrived. No, still pending. No biggie, it's coming. I'm not worried about it. But if for whatever reason you're having trouble, and you're having trouble communicating with the Ledger Nano using the Bluetooth, you might need to start over again. And a lot of times what happens is that the phone gets kind of gummed up, right? So you just have to go through the connection. You don't have to wipe the Ledger off. You can just sort of start over again. Let's see here. Where is it? Maybe it's not on the phone. Oh, let's try this. No. No. Help. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, there. Set up new device, right? Sorry about that. I knew it was in here somewhere. So you go to settings, and you go to help, and you do set up device, and you go through this process again with your ledger, and it's going to do the pairing. But here's the trick with the pairing. What you need to do is, if you've done this before and things got gummed up, you need to make sure that the phone does not see the old Bluetooth, right? So you have to go to your phone settings, right? You go over here to Bluetooth, and then you see there's 2 Ledger Nanos there that I've utilized in the past. You want to get rid of those when you do the repairing, right? Because if those are still in there, then the repairing won't work, right? You got to go over here to forget this device to get the phone to forget about it. And once you've done that, and there's no like ghost or remembered Bluetooth devices in your phone, then you can go back over here to Ledger Live and go into the settings, into the help part, and do that setup device and start over and go through the process again and let it reconnect to your ledger via Bluetooth and get that good pair going. Once you've got that pairing in there, you should be okay. But I don't know specifically what your problem is. I'm just kind of giving you some overview advice on like repairing with a phone-based Ledger Live and the Ledger device, Bluetooth-wise. But if you're having trouble just making things happen, go back and watch the live stream again from like half an hour in to like an hour in, and I do a bunch of the Ledger connection stuff, right, with the Bluetooth. It's not as hard as it seems. I think a lot of times people forget to look at the device, right? The device is waiting for you to verify stuff, and you need to pay attention to the fine interplay between the phone app and the device, right? The device will a lot of times be asking you to confirm, and you need to hit the button sometime to move to those screens so that you can confirm and or sign those transactions, right? So that's would be my advice. Yes, tried that. Yeah, I get that a lot, right? I've been doing tech support for many years, and I get it. Everyone hates to hear the tech support guy say, "Have you tried restarting your computer yet?" But there's, I get a lot. I've dealt with people where I've told them, "Are you sure it's connected?" And they go, "Yes, it's connected." And I'm like, "Are you sure it's connected?" And they go, "Of course it's connected." And I'll go to the back of your computer, disconnect it and reconnect it, and then and then they'll go, "Oh wait, look, the pin is bent." I'm like, "Yeah, so don't always, like, when someone gives you advice, sometimes a pair of eyes is always good in certain situations, right? And yes, we always assume that everything is fine, but sometimes you have to go back to square one and start over again. Disconnect, reconnect, reboot the computer, reboot the modem, do all that stuff that you hate to do, and then miraculously it just suddenly works, and you're just like, wow, what happened? I was helping someone with a ledger, and it was connected with the cable, and every time we tried to run Ledger Live or something, it just kept failing, and I could see that it was just not recognizing her device. And so I said, okay, well, could you disconnect and reconnect? We tried that. It still wasn't recognizing the device. We said, okay, can you reboot your computer? And she rebooted her computer, and it still wasn't recognizing the ledger was connected. And I said, I don't know, can you just disconnect the ledger and stick a flash drive in there. I just need to see your computer recognize any device. And she plugged in a flash drive, and the flash drive mounted. And I said, okay, well, now disconnect the flash drive and reconnect the ledger. And lo and behold, suddenly it said ledger connected. I mean, it's just like black magic sometimes. You just have to keep trying different things until it finally works. Thanks, Ron. It's good to see you. Marvin, hey, do you know if it's possible to set up a YubiKey? Oh, to log into my Brave browser profile account. You asked me that earlier in the comments when I posted earlier, and I kept trying to think what exactly you were trying to do. The YubiKey is like a way to do two-factor authentication, and you can use that YubiKey. It's not necessarily the YubiKey 5 you're talking about. It could be any YubiKey, right? So the YubiKey will do your two-factor. So I don't know that the Brave browser needs two-factor unless you're in the Brave browser and you're trying to sign into Coinbase, and you're in the Brave browser and you're using the YubiKey and something's going wrong, right? But I've done that before. Let's see here. Where is my YubiKey? I don't think I've got it here. And I'm not sure that I've got it. Yeah, here it is. All right, so here's my YubiKey. And it would have to be, like, first of all, it has to be inserted. Right, and you would have to use it with, I'm not logged out of anything, so it's kind of hard for me to do the demo, but let's just assume, come on now, what am I trying to do here? Let's go over to this email account. Maybe I'll, I don't want to sign out of all accounts, right? Eek. All right, let's try it. Whatever. I'll go ahead and sign out of all accounts. All right, so I want to sign back in. Now, it might, the password manager knows my password. Yeah, it just signed me right back in because it already knows this device, right? If I were trying to sign in from somewhere else, it might ask me for the two-factor. But it does work in Brave if I'm trying to log into an account and it wants me to, it's waiting for the YubiKey, right? As long as the YubiKey is in the USB drive, you have to go over and touch it. You have to, like, put your hand on top of it. Which, that may be what you're missing. I'm not sure. But as far as Brave browser, there's no two-factor authentication for Brave browser when you're trying to launch it, right? So I'm not sure if you're using two-factor with YubiKey for another type of account inside the Brave browser, and that's failing for you. I'm not sure what you mean exactly. But if I were trying to log into my Google and it had been set up to require that YubiKey, then at some point during that process, a little window would come up and say, please insert your YubiKey right now. And if it were already inserted, then you would need to just reach over and kind of touch it. This particular YubiKey, which I can't get out. I got it. And I'm red. All right, this particular YubiKey, let's go this crazy. This particular YubiKey is like kind of, it's one of their really small ones. And it's weird because it's not a button at all, really. But you can tap it, right? So when it's inserted in the USB drive and you're trying to log into something that requires two-factor, and it's telling you insert the YubiKey, you have to kind of touch it. And then all of a sudden it recognizes your YubiKey and it works. So even within Brave, I'm not sure why you're having trouble with it specifically using Brave browser. But those are some troubleshooting tips for the YubiKey. And there are other types of YubiKeys that actually have kind of a button on them. And then there's this little guy that's like a USB-C YubiKey. This is the 5CI, I think they call it. It has a lightning connector for your phone, and it has like a small connector for USB-C. So not every computer has USB-C. Apple laptops and certain newer motherboards have USB-C connectors, ports in the back for this. So I'm not sure what kind of YubiKey you're using. Yeah. USB power, 5 watts. Some devices need more power. That's a possibility. Like if you've got an account that is that you managed to get set up and wants a YubiKey to authorize, you might try using a desktop as opposed to the laptop. You might be on a laptop that doesn't have enough power to power that YubiKey. That's a possibility. So try the YubiKey on a different computer and see if it works on a different computer, like a desktop that's got more power. Like that's quite possible that it's a power issue. All right. Oh, we're done. We made it. I'm sorry if I didn't get every question. Are there any reputable free Bitcoin mining applications? Grape Caper. I would sort of stay away from Bitcoin mining right now. It's not really profitable unless you've gone out and bought all the right equipment. There are a lot of websites where they claim to sell cloud Bitcoin computing, cloud Bitcoin mining, where you're basically investing in a little piece of that Bitcoin mining, but you'd have to invest quite a bit to actually buy a big piece of a Bitcoin cloud mining operation that would actually generate profit for you. Most of them are scams, right? So anybody that sends you an email that tells you you can mine Bitcoin profitably is most likely trying to scam you, because Bitcoin mining, you need to invest a lot of money in equipment to be a successful, profitable Bitcoin mining operation, right? If I had money to burn, right, and I said I'm going to go buy the latest Bitcoin miner right now, right? This Antminer S17. I don't know if that's but that's a lot of money, right? The S17 is how much? All right, 1636, right? Not that bad. So I would invest that $1,636 into this miner, right? And then I would get it home, I would hook it up, and I would run it. And I would use it to mine. I couldn't even use it to standalone Bitcoin mine, right? I would have to join a mining pool, and there are ways to do that. And then you would be in that mining pool, and it would be using you would be contributing quite a bit of hash rate, because that's a nice miner. And it might take you 6 months to a year, maybe a year and a half, to even break even on the money you spent on the miner. And your electricity bill would go up. So you'd have to factor that into your overhead. And by the time you finally broke even and mined enough Bitcoin to break even, your miner would be a year and a half old, and it wouldn't be very efficient anymore, right? So that's the whole conundrum with Bitcoin mining, right? That's serious Bitcoin mining. Now, if you had $100,000 and you went out and bought like a bunch of these and you put them in a room in your house, that then you would need fans to keep everything cool. So Bitcoin mining is really not for, you know, the hobbyist anymore, right? So that's my advice on Bitcoin. If anybody that tells you you can mine Bitcoin profitably is probably trying to sucker you into some deal, you know, where you pay them up front, right? It's usually how it works. Anyway, it's been a great night. I hope you guys got something. I hope I didn't bore you with cryptography and Linux and all that junk. Stay alert. Buy as much Bitcoin as you can. That's my investing advice to you. Just I finally decided after mining Bitcoin for a year and a half and all of the trouble that I went through that it was just about, you know, with all the overhead that you incur with mining and the time it takes you to break even, you're better off just buying some Bitcoin and holding on to it for a year and a half than to try to buy a big miner up front with your money and spend a year and a half mining just to break even and then start earning, right? Just buy as much Bitcoin as you can afford with that $1,600, and then maybe after a year and a half, you might have, you know, doubled your money more than you would have with the miner, right? Buying is easier and cheaper as far as I'm concerned. But hey, if you want to go into the mining, Bitmain is the place to start, all right? Anyway, don't forget I do this every week, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me again where we'll talk about the Bitcoin price, the movement, the cryptocurrency news in general, and I'll take questions, do my best to get them answered, move some crypto around, have some fun. And then I also have a new Tuesday morning hour from 9:10 a.m. to 10:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time where I go through Bitcoin basics. What is Bitcoin? What is the blockchain? What is a wallet? All that kind of simple stuff. Join me for that too. I'll do my best to answer questions there. Check out videos that I post. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon. God bless. Good night, guys.